So once again, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you to iTrain's Google Certified Educator review session on online learning strategies with G Suite for Education and how to leverage G Suite for education tools to support online learning. And today we are joined by Wayne Lim, who is a Google Certified Trainer. And before starting any presentations, I would like to quickly remind you to please opt to turn off the microphone and video camera. So during the presentations, please do not use the microphone or your video camera as it worsens the quality of the recording. And if you have any questions for the speaker, you can write them in the chat box on the right-hand side of the screen. So if you all can hear me well and you can see the presentation that is going on at the moment, then please write in the chat box yes. Great, and welcome to those who are here already for the third day or the second, and welcome to those who are here for the first day. Also, one more technical thing I would like to ask you all is on the bottom right hand side, you can see the option to present now. Do not press that at all. Otherwise, unfortunately, we'll have to make you leave leave the meeting. So yeah, do not press present now and try to mute yourself throughout the presentation unless nothing's happening and you don't understand what's going on, then you can start speaking. But yeah, so quickly before Wayne starts, I would like to tell you more about iTrain, who is the organizer of today's webinar. So at iTrain, we're supporting digital transformation, and we are the pioneers and leaders in tech learning in Asia. And at iTrain, we believe in two core principles: that the power of technology to shape the world and help us build a better world, and that love of learning is the source of human ingenuity and well-being. Our goal, which is backed by government and academia, is to fast-track Asian businesses with the latest technology applications and know-how. These are some of the certifications that are currently held at iTrain. So we have mobile app development, blockchain, data science, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence that includes both machine learning and deep learning. We also have fintech, digital marketing, and cybersecurity courses. And these have been some of the clients that we've had the chance to help them empower their businesses. And as you can see, they're across many strategic sectors, either from finance to technology and industry and manufacturing. So yes, I'll slowly get back to Wayne, but you will be able to receive the recording of the webinar after you fill out the feedback form. And I will put the information on the feedback form in the chat. And also you'll be able to see it at the end of the presentation. So yes, if you have any questions towards iTrain, you can send them to info@itrain.com.mi or also visit our website, www.itrain.com.mi. Okay, Wayne, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Liz. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And first of all, I'd like to make sure that you can actually see me and hear me so that I can start my presentation. If you can't see me, please give me if you can see and hear me, please give me a yes. Cool. All right. So let me share my screen. So first of all, before we start, I'd like to just show you guys because I guess some of you might not know how to actually turn off your camera or microphone. So for your information, at the bottom of your screen, you can actually see two buttons here. So do make sure that you actually turn them off by clicking on this. So when you after you click on it, after your microphone is off, it will turn to red color. All right. Okay, so and you will not be able to see yourself. So let's get started. So once again, thank you very much for joining um, our our third webinar session for this week. Focus on online learning strategies with G Suite for Education. So in our past couple of sessions, we talk about technology alone will not actually improve education, and but okay, it could be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
powerful part of of your solution. Sorry, I'm actually hearing some echo. I guess somebody actually did not turn off the microphone. Okay, all right. So I'm sure like a lot of you here, you have actually joined my two sessions in this week. So which we were actually talking about Google Calendar, Google Hangouts, Google Classroom, or even Google Keep. So today we're just gonna focus on a very simple yet very useful tool, which is Google Forms. So um, I remember a lot of you actually asked me a question. So, am I able to create or to assign a quiz in my Google Classroom? So the answer is yes. Okay, you can actually assign a quiz question through your Google Classroom by using Google Forms. So let's take a look at what's the traditional ways for us to collect feedback and data, or even um, to create a quiz. Okay, like the traditional way we are actually doing it now is that most of us normally we would print out a form, and we will give out the hard copy of a feedback form, for example, a feedback form after the training. So we will want to collect data from our audience to know what's their opinions, what's their feedback after a training session, or even after your lecture. Okay, you want to get some feedback from your students, or sometimes you actually use a feedback form for you to rate your students' presentation. So this can actually cause an issue. So the first issue would be you will need some time for you to actually uh, create a form, okay, in probably in a document and print it out. So it will actually take you some time to print out with papers, and also it will cost you some money if you need to print out a lot of papers to give it out to your audience. So in the long run, this might not make any sense to you, okay. And also after you um, after you collect all the data, so you will need some time for you to process the data. So for example, you will need to re-key in all your information that you got from a feedback form, or even from a quiz into your computer, and then you have to process it through like Google Sheets, for example. Okay, and this actually creates like multiple steps, which is not necessary for nowadays, especially when you have technologies, when you have good technologies to use, such as Google Forms. Okay, and the third thing is that a lot of people would concern about the security and the data lost issue. So sometimes we might be actually using the forms to collect some of the sensitive information, such as, okay, when you are doing student registration, okay, you might be actually collecting their address, phone number, or even like email address. So these are the data that we would like to have some sort of security to make sure that it's being saved in somewhere that is secure. So I remember back then, okay, when I was actually in the college, the college actually collected my information and my data through a paper, and then they put it into a file. So over time, they would actually have a lot of file to be actually stored, okay, in a room. And sometimes things might happen, such as um, so there could be a fire and everything get burned off, or there could be like a thief and the data got stolen. So we do not want all that to happen. So which is why today we're going to talk about using Google Forms to make sure that your data is secure, and also how do you actually use Google Form to create a quiz so that you do not have to re-key in all the results. You do not have to uh, like have the multiple steps that I've just mentioned. Okay, so let's take a look at your on my right hand side of the screen, data collection with G Suite for Education. So feedback and data collection are done via Google Forms. Okay, and informations are recorded and saved in Google Drive instantly after the submission. So basically, to give you a better idea, is that your participants, your audience basically key in the information and they hit submit. Everything will be automatically recorded in a spreadsheet and saved in your Google Drive, which you you're gonna be the only person who can access to it if you did not share it with anyone. Okay, and everything is being saved automatically, and you can do data processing anytime anywhere by logging into a Google account as long as you have internet connection, for example, such as now. Okay, assuming that you did not use Google Form for your quiz in your university, in your lecture, so before the MCO, so everything was actually being saved in paper, and you did not have time to actually bring it back to home for all the assessment, for all the processing. And now you get stuck at home because of the MCO. You are not allowed to go to the university, you are not allowed to go out. So it could be a problem, right? So you get stuck at home, and you have time to do work, but okay, because of the papers, they are all stuck in the university. So right now, you just have to wait. By using Google Forms, you will not have such a function. Sorry, you will not have such an issue. Okay, and the third thing is that Google Forms or Google Drive. Okay, we actually use SSL encryption, which is a strong TLS standard encryption that used to protect all the files and documents, so you do not have to worry about the data lost issue. All right, so I'm pretty sure you guys are really excited. You want to try it out. Google Forms, you want to take a look at Google Form on how can you create a quiz, okay, with Google Form. So let's take a look now. All right. So by going to Google Form, how you can do it is that you can just type in forms.google.com. Okay, you'll be directed to your Google Form screen. So that's the first way. So if you log in straight into your Gmail, into your email, so what you can do, you can go to your app Google Apps button and scroll down to find Google Forms. Okay, that will be the second way. So the third way will be create a Google Form straight away in your Google Drive. Okay, by clicking on the new button. Okay, and go to more and go to Google Forms. Okay, these are the three ways on how you can actually access to the Google Forms page. Okay, so the easiest way I find it is to basically go to your Google Apps button, which you can find in Google Drive, Gmail, Google Docs, anywhere, and just scroll down, go straight to your Google Forms. That will be the easiest way. Okay, just for your information. So while I'm actually showing you how to do it, you can try yourself by opening another tab and just try it out. So while I'm explaining to you, if you have any questions, please feel free to actually uh, ask in the chat section, or if you have any idea you would like to share with any one of us, please feel free to do so. Okay, so meanwhile, before we start, let me see if there is any question from you guys. Okay, what's the name of your YouTube channel? Um, so we'll be sharing out the link of our YouTube channel here after this, after you fill up the feedback form. So um, In the meanwhile, I noticed there's no any other questions. Oh, there's one. Okay, what is the difference between Google Forms and Google Doc? Okay, for your information, Google Forms is basically an app. Okay, an application for you to create electronic form or create electronic quizzes. Google Doc is basically an application for you to create a document. Okay, Google Doc will be equivalent to your Microsoft Words, for example. Is it possible to jumble the question in Google Quiz? Of course, and I will show you how now. Okay, so everybody is already on your Google Form screen. So from here, let me just explain a little bit to you on the layout. So on the top, you should be able to see start a new form button, which is blank, okay, and you get to see some of the preset template in a template gallery. So if you have actually created some of the forms, you should be able to see it at the bottom of your screen, which will be under recent forms. All right, so let's don't look at the recent form first and take a look at the template gallery. So everybody, please feel free to click on the template gallery. And once you click on it, you will be able to see there are a lot of preset um, template for you to use, such as order form, event feedback, work request, customer feedback, or even find a time. Okay, so there are a lot of things for you to create, for you to select here if you have no idea how to start to create a form. Okay, you can basically select a form based on the topic you want to create, and then you just customize it. So but today what I'm going to show you is basically to create something from a blank form. So everybody click on blank. Okay, and this will be something that you can see after you click on blank. So you will see a blank form, which name as untitled form. So first of all, we're gonna think of something that we want to create. So today we are talking about creating a quiz in the classroom. So which means a quiz is that it will allow you to have some auto marked questions. Yes, okay, it's auto marked question. So which means you can create a question, pre-select the answer, okay, so that after your student actually answer it and they hit submit button, Google Form will actually mark it for you. All right. I believe this is something that a lot of people, a lot of lecturers, you guys are looking for because the reason why you want to use digital tools for your learning, for your teaching is basically to save your time, right? So let's start, okay? Let's assuming that today we are having something more fun, okay? We talk about G Suite for education, okay? We want to have a general topic for today. Use it for education quiz. All right. So let's assuming that that's gonna be a quiz for you guys. You guys are my students and I'm your lecturers today. Okay. So after I've set um, a title for my form, so you will be seeing that, okay, how come the title here on the top left is not being changed? Okay, let me explain to you. So you have to click on it for it to actually change to the name of your form. So the title on the top left will be something that you can see within your Google Drive. Okay, within your Google Drive. So don't worry about whether it will be saved or not, because when you look at the top here, any changes that you have made to your form, you'll be automatically saved immediately into your Google Drive. So which means you do not have to click a save button. All right, so once you see all changes saved in the Google Drive, you can actually go to your drive. So there you go. Okay, I get to see G Suite for Education quiz. All right, so now let's create our first question. So by default, you should be able to see there is an um, untitled question in the first question. So before we start to create a question, I'd like to show you guys what are the types of questions that you can create. So such as you get to create short answer. So what sort of question can I use for short answer? For example, okay, I can create a field called name because I want to collect the name of my student. Okay, so that will be short answer, for instance. Okay, so and paragraph. So how can you use paragraph? So basically, if you require your student to write their view, to write their opinions about something, I can select paragraph. So it allows them to basically type like long paragraph as the answer to support a question. And next thing we have multiple choice. So which I believe a lot of you are very familiar with it, which is our uh, objective question. Okay, they get to choose one answer out of a few different answers there. All right, and now we have checkboxes, which they get to select multiple answer from the list, and drop down, which they get to see a drop down list, and they can just select a correct answer, file upload. Okay, this can be something that is very interesting. For example, let me give you an example. Okay, let's say if you are doing some sort of registration in the college, in a university, so you would actually require them to submit like a photo of their ID or the photo of their work. Okay, you can choose file upload. So basically they would submit the ID as a picture. Okay, and it's going to be saved in your Google Drive. All right, and then we have the linear scale, multiple choice grid, and checkbox grid here. So this can be useful when you want to send out a feedback form. Okay, so require them to actually rate something. So you can actually use linear scale, multiple choice grid, and checkbox grid. So, and the last part, we have date and time. So this could be useful when you want to send out um, a survey form asking, okay, for example, you want to check with everybody what's your preferred time or what's your preferred date for the next training, for the next user for education training. You can actually include this so that they can actually select a date and a time. Okay, so after we have already looked at all the question types that you can create, let's create something now. So first, I'm gonna type in the first question. I'm gonna leave it as multiple choice. All right. So so for example, I create a question here. Which of the following is not part of G Suite for Education? Okay, I'm gonna put in my answer. Google Docs. All right, so now I have my answer there. And of course, okay, I have to, because I want to make this question as a compulsory question for student to answer. So which means they would not be able to submit their quiz without answering this question. So I will have to switch on the required button over here, which to make this question as compulsory. So because we want to make this a quiz, so we have to set the correct answer right. So what you can do is that you will have to switch, okay, this entire form into a quiz. So what you can do is on your top right, all right, and you click on the settings and you go to quizzes, okay, and you switch this on, make this a quiz. So you can actually assign points value to questions and allow auto grading. All right, so switch it on, and then you have a few options to look at. So the first one is about releasing the grade. So do you want your student to be able to receive the grade to know whether they actually pass it or they fail the quiz? Okay, you can actually select two different ways. The first way is they get to receive the grades and the score immediately after the submission. Okay, once they hit on submit, they receive a score right away on the screen. Okay, or you prefer to actually leave it to later, which you want to actually have a manual review first. You want to be able to go through all the answers and then give them the feedback one by one. Only you click on releasing the grades. Okay, so let's turn this on because I'm going to show you how can you actually do this. So now we select, we will actually release the grade later, okay, after our manual review. So, and then the last part, you get to see respondent get to see missed questions. So, which are the questions that they uh, answer incorrectly, okay, and the correct answers and the points value. So, if you do not want them to see like the wrong questions, you can actually uncheck this. But usually for quiz, I would recommend all the teachers and lecturers to actually turn this on so that your student know their mistake and they know the correct answer so that they can take it as part of a revision. Okay, and it can save your time as well because you are letting Google Forms to do most of the job. So all you have to do is to create question, set the answer, set the scores, set the points, and then there you go. Okay. So once you're done, of course, you have to go back to general settings as well. Okay. Because we want a student to be able to limit to one response only so that they don't submit multiple um, multiple times of the answer. So what we do is that we will check this. So by checking this, your student will be required to log in to the Google account or to the student email before they start using your quiz, before they start doing your quiz. Okay, so, and on the top here, you get to see, okay, response received. Okay, so what does this do? So basically, if you check on this, there will be two options here. So the first one is if respondent requested. The second one is always. So this means when you click on always, the students will be able to receive a copy of the answer after they hit the submit button. Okay, let me repeat again. So this part, the response receipts, it means students will be able to receive a copy of the answers after they hit on the submit button. Okay, of course, you get to make it as optional, whether they get to choose whether they want to receive the copy of the answers. So in this case, we're gonna make it as optional. Okay, and then the last part here. So you get to see respondents can edit after submit. No, okay? Because for quiz, I do not want them to be able to edit again after the submission. So I would uncheck this and see summary charts and text responses. So do you want your student to be able to see the summary charts on the overview of how the other students answer the question and text responses? So in this case, usually if it's a quiz, I would recommend you not to actually show this because your student might be able to show it to another students who has not actually start the quiz. So it could be an issue. So let's don't do this. Okay. And earlier, one of our friends here actually asked me, am I able to shuffle the question order? So let's say I have 10 questions, but I want to make sure the order is different for every single student. Yes, of course you can, okay? You just have to head to the presentation tab and click on shuffle question order. So by checking this option here, you will be able um, to basically shuffle the question order. Okay, and show progress bar here basically is to allow your student to see how far have they actually gone through. Okay, now of course here confirmation message will be shown to your student after they hit on submission. So by default, okay, they should be able to see your response has been recorded after they hit on the submit button. But you can actually customize it. For example, okay, I want them to know that they have already submitted the quiz. So I will just put quiz has been submitted. You will receive your results after the review. Okay, I want to ensure them the quiz has been submitted after they click on the submit message. Okay, and I want to tell them the result will be received after the review because remember earlier we actually check on later after the manual review. So after you have set all the settings here, you are happy. Okay, now you hit on save. You will see something has changed on your question editing screen. Okay, you will see there is an answer key option here and 0 points by default because you have not actually set any answers for this question. So let's go into it. Okay, when you click on answer key, you will hit into choose correct answer page. So from here, you get to set the point. All right, I set it as 1. Okay, and you can add answer feedback. So before that, I want to choose the correct answer. So this is the correct answer. Okay, once you choose on it, you can actually see there is a little check, the green check over here, and this option will become green color. All right, and of course, you can actually select multiple correct answers as well. So because this is multiple choice, which means they get to choose only one answer, okay, but depending on your question as well, okay, they will get to choose either one of this, it will be the correct answer. But in this case, there's only one answer, so I would select only one option here, okay, and I will add answer feedback. So answer feedback means the message that they get to see if they answer, let's say, correct, incorrect answer or correct answer. So incorrect answer, you can tell them, uh, sorry, wrong answer. Okay. Okay, so that's the incorrect answer feedback. When they click on the wrong answer, they get to see this feedback. Okay, correct answer, we just type a message. Bravo. Okay, and of course here you can actually attach like video directly from YouTube or via URL to support your answer, or you can attach a link for them to actually probably read an article as part of the answer. Okay, but in this case, I'm just gonna hit save. So once I hit save, I get to see feedback for correct answer is gonna be bravo, and feedback for incorrect answer is gonna be sorry, wrong answer, blah blah blah. Okay, so once you are happy with all the answers, you can hit done. So done. First question is done. Okay, I've set my correct answer, and I get to see it's 1 point, and the question type is gonna be multiple choice. Okay, so let me see if there's any question. At about subjective or as a question, can we create and get it auto marked? If yes, how? Okay, for essay question, because it's like it's essay, so everybody, there is no such a thing as like a standard a standard like um, answer type. So you could be actually catching the keywords, but you would not be able to do auto marking for that, because even though every student they have their own keywords, but in general you still require like manual review for teachers to go through the paragraph, for the teachers to be able to review each of the points. So the answer is no, you will not be able to get auto marked for subjective of or as a question. Okay, unless you are using, like for example, short answer. So short answer, sometimes it could be like fill in the blanks, that you have a 1 to 3 word question, sorry, 1 to 3 words answer, that it's actually standard for everybody. So that in that way you would be able to use the auto mark function. Okay, and the next question from Aziza. So can we shuffle the answer order as well? Of course you can. Okay, so what you do is that you go to the options button here and you click on shuffle option order. So when you click on this, so each time every student get the question, they will get the answer in reshuffle mode. Okay. Can we put some condition? If the answer is wrong, then a minus mark will be given. Okay. Um, for this question, you will not be able to give like negative mark, but no mark will be given instead. Okay, I'll repeat. So if you set this question as like 1 point, for example, if this student actually answer it incorrectly, he would not be able to get negative mark, but he will get zero instead. Okay. Multiple choice can choose multiple answer. I thought only checkbox. Okay, from low. Okay, to answer your question, multiple choice, you cannot select multiple answer. Okay, but you can have multiple correct answer, which means if you have multiple correct answer, your student pick either one of the correct answer, they will get it correctly. For example, I want them to choose only one answer, but there are three possible correct answer in this question. Okay, in that way you can choose multiple correct answer, but student can only answer one. All right. So I would from Farah. Okay, I would like to know more about lock mode on Chromebooks under quizzes settings. So in this case, I guess I will have to answer your question separately, because this gonna be something related to your Chromebook settings. Okay, um, it would be great if you can actually contact me afterwards, and I can actually get to see the screen properly and to answer your question after this. All right, so I'm assuming that the first part, there is no question, right? So the next thing you guys will have to do is basically, after you have created the first question as a quiz, you will, I'm pretty sure you would like to preview, right? So if you go to the top, you get to preview how does it look like on your student screen. Okay, so when you hit on preview button, you will be linked to a new tab where your new form is. Okay, you get to see your title on the top. And remember, just now we mentioned that we would like to have we would like to get them to log in, right? So they will see this message, your email address will be recorded when you submit this form. Okay, this is for you as a lecturers to make sure that who actually submit this answer. Okay, and we set the question as 1 point, and we set the correct answer as Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, but I'm gonna do a test, so I'm just gonna click on random answer, and remember I get to choose whether I want to have a copy of my own response. Okay, of course I want to, so I will hit on submit, and there we go. I get to see the response that is being customized by myself earlier. So quiz has been submitted. You will receive results after review. Okay, so now I'm happy with my test, so I'll get back to my form. So as you can see, I get to see a responses now because I just submitted one form earlier. Okay, and I get to see from here. So one person actually answer my question. Okay, and that's the person score has not been released to this person, and that's the answer. Okay, so before I release the score, I would like to go to question and take a look what are the question and what's the answer. So the answer that this guy actually answer is actually Google Docs, so which is wrong. Okay, from here, if you think that they are correct, you can actually mark it as correct. You can still change it before you release the score. All right, and from here you get to see the options and you get to see the correct answer. All right, and of course you can switch to individual view as well. Let's say if you have like 30 sorry, 30 students in the class, you would like to review the answer one by one. So you can switch to individual. So on the top here, it will be shown as the email address of your students. Okay, and other information that they have filled in the form as well. So sometimes I do understand some of the university, you guys do not use uh, the student name as part of the email address, but you use a code instead. So in this way, in order for you to understand, to know better who actually submit this answer, you can include one of the short answer field to make sure that they put in the name so that you know where who actually answered this question. Okay, and here, so let's assuming that I'm actually happy with the result here. So Google Form has actually do automatically marking for me, and I just need to add my individual feedback for my students. Okay, I can actually add more feedback, so such as, hi Wayne, okay, uh, please refer to topic 3, page 25 for the answer and explanation. For example, okay, I would like the student to be able to find the answer in um, the learning materials, okay, that I have actually uploaded onto my Google Classroom platform. So I can actually put in customized feedback, okay, and hit save. So I get to send them the individual feedback. So once I'm happy with this, I can click on release score. So when I click on release score, okay, I can still type more messages here if I want to. And I can send emails and release. So this person, Wayne, will be able to receive the email saying that, hey, your lecturers has already finished marking your questions and has already released a score. So he will actually receive an email, okay, called score release here, okay? And when I click on it, I can see the images, okay, and I can click on view. So as a student, I'll be able to receive this response from my lecturer saying that, okay, this is the feedback and this is my correct answer. This is the answer that I have actually submitted, and that's the correct answer with along with the explanation. Okay, so that will be the first question done, of course, we're gonna see more other questions. Okay, you just have to toggle, um, you just have to switch in between this question and responses. So we're just gonna add one more question before we actually look at how do we compile all the answers together in a Google Sheets and keep it as a record. Okay, so on the right hand side, you get to see there is a plus button here. So you can hit on this button to add more questions. All right, so when you hit on the button, a new question will be created at the bottom. So this time I'm gonna select a different answer type. So let's do checkboxes. Okay. So we can use Google Forms for the following functions except, okay, let's put in some of the functions here. Instead of putting function, I would say purposes. Right, so I have already set a few answers for my questions for checkboxes, and now it's time for me to go to answer keys. Okay, and of course, because if it's a checkboxes questions, I will have to select the correct answer over here. So, yeah, you will not be able to use Google Forms to browse video on YouTube. Okay, and I'm gonna set it as 3. Okay, so I have already set the feedback as well. Okay, so I just have to hit done, and I need to make a little bit of correction here. And there we go, I have another question done. Of course, I'll have to set it as required. Okay, so again, you can actually go to your preview button here to see, oops, we have already submitted the response. Okay, so what we can do is to go to the settings to uncheck this so that I can actually see my forms again. So I get to see 2 questions here. Okay, so let's see if there is any other questions. So question from Tan Chu Kim. Um, can use file upload for submission of mathematics solution steps by students. How to create mathematics solution steps. Of course, you can actually use it for your student to submit the mathematics solution steps. But of course, if it's a file upload, it will have to be marked manually. All right, you have to grade it manually. If answer is edited on sheets, will it reflect on summary? Do you mean by, let's say, if you create the answers um, into a Google Sheets and you actually edit the answer on um, the Google Sheets, will it reflect on summary? How to set time limit for a quiz. For example, 2 minutes per MCQ. Okay, in this part, you will not be able to set any time for the quiz. Okay, okay. Regarding the question, if you have actually made changes in your Google Sheet, will it be reflected on your summary? The answer is no. You would not be able to see anything like being changed in the summary. Okay, only when you change something in the summary will affect to your Google Sheets. When typing a question, can we upload a picture to the area? Of course you can. Okay, that's a very good question. Thanks for asking that. So that's assuming that you would like to add photos into for this question. So what you can do is that on the right hand side, you can see there is add image over here. So you just have to click on this button and you can upload or via your camera by your photos, Google Drive, or even image search. So for example, I'm gonna search for an image. Google Forms. Okay, I'm gonna select this. Okay, so what you can do is that you can drag it before your question, and this is a little bit too big. Okay, I'm gonna resize it. And there you go. Okay, you can add a question, you can add an image here. So of course you can add a title here as well. And let's say if you like to add an image as part of your answer, you can actually click on the answer and add the image here. Okay, let's see what else. Is there any restriction of the size of the file can be uploaded? No, okay, there is no any restriction, but try to keep it like under 1 MB so that it wouldn't take too long for your respondent to load the form. Because if you upload like a huge file, so it would take a long time for them to um, load the Google form. How do I bold or underline certain words in the question? So for that, in Google Form, you will not be able to actually bold it, but you can actually add like a title or description to make uh, your question more of a highlight. Okay, so you can actually add something like this over here to make them actually having like their own section. Okay, so for example, this is going to be the title, and you can take a look. So there you go. Okay, so you cannot actually bold something here, but you can actually do it here. Okay, so let's assuming that you have already done your quiz. You are already happy with the quiz form. Okay, so the next thing you will have to do is to send it out to your students. So what you can do here is there are a few ways for you to share it with your students so that you can collect the answer. All right, so you can actually click send on the top right and directly send it to a group email or your student's email um, with the message and subject over here, okay? Or you can copy the link and post it in your Google Classroom, for example. Or you can actually embed this HTML. Let's say you have a school website, you would like to paste it there. You can actually embed the link and then actually paste it there, okay? And of course, you can share it via social media as well, such as Facebook and Twitter, okay? So I will close this and see. Okay, can you show again where you put the private command? Okay, sure. So private command can only be uh, set or can only be given after you receive a response or after you receive a submission from your student under your responses tab. Okay, when you click on responses tab, you get to see the insights of the answers of the quiz. So if you want to go, if you want to put in like a private comment, you can go to individual and you can pick your student here on the top. Okay, right now I have only one, so I don't have to pick anyone. And you can see individual feedback here. So you can customize it by clicking on edit. And then you can put in your whatever feedback you have and click save. Okay, and of course, before you release a score, okay, you can click on release score. Before that, you can put a message here as well so that they can actually see it in the email. How can we invite all students in my class to answer the quiz in the same time? Okay, so there are a few ways to do it. So the first way is that you can go to send here and send them an email. So that's the first way. Second way, which I think it makes more sense to you, and at the same time also you can make sure that it reach out to all students, is that you can copy the link and paste it in your Google Classroom. Or instead of copying the link, you can go to Google Classroom. Okay, and go into your class. Go to classwork, create. You can go straight to quiz assignment. Okay, so can you set a password? No, the answer is no. Can we set a timer to our quizzes? No. Can you set a timeline? Okay, you can set a timeline if you use Google Classroom. So for example, okay, right now I actually assigned it as a quiz assignment in the Google Classroom, which I've shown in my last webinars on how to use Google Classroom, that you can set a title here, set instructions, and you can set a deadline, a due date here, okay, or even the time if you want to, all right? So the last step, okay, for you to collect all your responses in one space, which is the Google Sheets, for you to compile everything into Google Sheets, is that you go to responses tab, and there is a spreadsheet button here. So what you do is that you can click on the spreadsheet button, and normally I would click on create a new spreadsheet, because I do not usually prepare like a spreadsheet before that. If you have, you can select an existing spreadsheet, but usually I'll just create one and you'll be automatically saved in my Google Drive. with all the responses that I received. So when you hit on it, you can see the timestamp, the email address, or the name, and the scores and the question and answers of your student. Okay, so let's see if there is any more questions. Can we record attendance using Google Meet? The answer is no. No, you cannot do that. Can you set a specific date and time for them to do the quiz? For example, everybody will have to do it on the 11th of April from 9 to 8. Um, no, but you can actually set the deadline in your Google Classroom so that they will have to actually do it before the expiry date. Okay. Of course, they will still be able to submit after this expiry date, but they would it would be actually highlighted as like late submission. Okay. So basically, that's pretty much about using Google Forms as a quiz tool for you to use it in your class. And it'll be great if you guys could actually give us a little bit of feedback on what you think about this webinars and what else would you like to actually know or learn in the future so that we can actually plan it out for you. Um, and the link is actually being has been actually shared by Liz a few times in the chat, and she will be sharing again. There we go. There are links for you to receive your presentation, and also there are links for you to contact us and know more information about the courses that we have. Okay. So let's see if there are more questions. So um, okay, I just noticed there is a questions earlier. For short answers question, the answer has to match the answers choices correctly. So what if the answer has a period? Um, okay, so yes, you are right. It has to match the answer like exactly the same, okay? Or else it will be marked as wrong. Can we freeze the option of toggle to other Google Chrome tab during the quiz to avoid any student for Googling the answers? That will be pretty much, that will be actually more on the device controlling side, so which Google Form is not able to do so because Google Form, there is no controlling features under Google Form. So it only allows you to collect like the data, the answer from the students. Okay. So I noticed some of you here, you are actually interested to know more about other apps and also know more about some of the extra features of Google Forms. So do contact us and let us know so that we can actually try to arrange for another um, extra session available for you guys to attend. Okay? Does Meet Google, okay, that's Meet, okay, has option of grouping participants for discussions like breakout rooms in Zoom. No, actually, comparing to Zoom, Google Meet is actually quite different. I would say same, but different, okay? Um, there are features that you get in Google Meet, and um, but there are features that you get Google in Zoom that you would not actually get in Google Meet. All right, uh, so that will be pretty much that's all for today, and thank you very much for um, attending our session. Thank you very much for your time and attention. We hope to see you again very soon. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe.